Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is John and I'm a typical Dutchman and I react to all kinds of videos about life and living in the US or life and living in Europe or vice versa. And today we're going to take a look at a video from Informed Insights and it's called Gen Alpha Can't Read and Teachers Are Fed Up. Okay, I was a teacher over here in Europe, over here in the Netherlands. So I'm curious what is going on there with this can't read. Hmm. Let's take a look at it.
So we got to talk about Gen Alpha in the classroom once again. And let me start by
Once again. Okay, so they are a problem. Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha. Okay.
saying this isn't all of Gen Alpha, but a decent chunk, which has teachers second guessing their career decisions all entirely. In this video, we'll review real opinions and stories from teachers and analyze why Gen Alpha is causing all sorts of mayhem in US classrooms.
Absolutely no more 6-7. Oh boy. iPad kids, the Gen Alpha, aren't learning to read. You need to read. You need to learn to read if you want to read your iPad.
It's frustrating teachers, it's having
Oh, I see. Because it's a 2 minute. No, it's a 2 minute read. It's not. Okay. Let's continue. I'm interrupting continuously.
them worried. Gen Alpha's having trouble reading, writing, and ultimately focusing on class, and they really just don't want to learn. We're going to discuss what this all means and what it means for the future of education and the future of Gen Alpha. Now, we've made many videos on this discussing how Gen Alpha is destroying Chromebooks, property, and not putting any effort in class.
Destroying Chromebooks and property? um, he started the video with a great chunk, so it's not all of Gen Alpha. Let's keep that in mind.
But as we enter the new school year, teachers on social media are showcasing how difficult it can be to teach in Gen Alpha classroom. Things have gotten so bad that some kindergarten teachers are reporting how parents are now expecting teachers to potty train their kids and, well, have teachers go through all that crap.
I just saw a
Potty train.
video of this lady who was upset that teachers are not helping with potty training kindergartners. Oh man. All right, here we go. As a kindergarten teacher, it is not my job to potty train your child. I'm so sorry. It is not my job. That is not what I signed up for. That is not in the contract. That is definitely your job as a parent to try and potty train your child. So I don't know if it's the state of California, but I know for sure in my district, you don't have to be potty trained, unfortunately, to go to kindergarten. So when
Wear diapers. Then the problem is the parent. You do not. Okay. I'm not sure what we do over here in the Netherlands or in Europe. If we do some of it, but yeah, I agree. It's not part of her job to do this. It's only a part of her job to assist the parents because the child is on school for a couple of hours a day.
a child shows up to school in a diaper and, the diaper is full or they even, number two in the diaper, I do have to just send them to the nurse. The nurse has to make a phone call. And of course, either the family takes the child home or they just bring them in another diaper. If a child is not potty trained and they do, on themselves without a diaper, nobody can change it for them, even the nurse. So if a child does not know how to change themselves, then they have to just get sent home or, they call the parents. One of the many jobs.
Yeah, of course. sounds logical to me.
Jobs I had before I became a kindergarten teacher was a daycare assistant. And during that time, I wasn't necessarily potty training kids, but we were with toddlers, obviously, who were in the process of potty training. So that was a case where it was normal for me to try to get a child to sit on the toilet. You know, changing diapers, that was all part of the job. But now I am an educator. I'm a teacher. I'm here to educate. I am here to teach. I am not here to change diapers. I'm not here to teach your child how to put on their pants. My job is to teach phonics, letters, sounds, words, math, reading, writing. As teachers, we have a whole other list of things and curriculum that we have to get through before the year ends. And potty training is not one of them. And I believe one of the comments the original video said, or maybe comments in her video, was like, oh, people don't want to be a village anymore. As teachers, we are part of the village. We are part of the village that helps educate. And again, potty training is not on that list.
It's clear. It's clear. Potty training is not on the list.
Exactly. It's not the teacher's responsibility to have to worry about poopy diapers. They are teachers. And these kids are in their developmental years where math, reading, and writing are paramount to their foundation. We wonder why Gen Alpha has reported historically low reading and writing rates. Well, perhaps it's because stories like this keep on emerging. And yeah, it's super weird, super gross to be sending your kid in diapers to school. 5 to 6 years old? Are you kidding me? I mean, there are
5 to 6 year olds. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about more on the age of 2, 3, or 4, but 5 and 6 years, they should be. Yeah, I don't know the real English word for it, but they should have been potty trained.
probably plenty of situations where this is justified, but I'd put money that that story is not one of them. How in the world are parents going to send their kids to school without knowing how to sit on a toilet? Are you kidding me? It's insane, just insane. So yeah, this probably leads us to a key point. Parents are not taking responsibility or ownership on their kids' education. Keep in mind that these new parents are now probably older Gen Z to millennials. So many of them might have brain rot themselves, scrolling on TikTok, watching hours of Netflix content, or gaming for hours, while their kid is still pooing in their diapers, not getting the proper parental guidance to function in a sanitary society. One of the top comments on that video read, "Not having your 5 to 6 year old potty trained should be considered neglect, unless there is a diagnosed medical or developmental issue with the child." Honestly, yeah, that's a good take. And yeah, it's really sad for these kids that are involved in these sort of situations. Their development is getting stunted. At the same time, while they get older, the problems could get worse in the form of discipline issues or, more adult lining issues. And who has to deal with the fallout of these kids and their stunted developments? Well, it's the teachers. Bless our teachers, because in so many situations, they are making up for the lack of the kids' parental guidance. So many times we have these little kids calling the teacher's mom or mama, since, well, their actual mom didn't bother to teach them how to get potty trained. They rather just DoorDash a big box of diapers than bother teaching their kid how to potty train. Like I just said, once the kid becomes older, if these parents continue to ignore their kids and their development, there's bound to be so many issues for them in the future. And here's a take from a teacher in Florida, who I believe sums up the entire state of the education perfectly.
So I posted a video asking parents to start working with teachers in order to get their children to where they need to be in terms of literacy. I'm a 7th grade teacher. A lot of my students read very well below grade level. And so I need help from other parents to help work with their kids outside of school to reinforce the things that I'm teaching in school. Y'all would have thought that I told somebody to climb Mount Everest in the middle of winter during an avalanche with the anvil strapped on their back. I got so many people making videos blaming people like me for why their kids can't read. I got somebody even threatened my life because I said that. Because something as small as reading to your child for 30 minutes a day is so insurmountable you can't do it. But you'll be on your TikTok for 30 minutes a day. And
again, TikToks. I don't know how much of the people and how much the parents nowadays, the new parents, because I'm the older one, but the new parents, like you said, Gen Z or the millennials. I don't know. Over here in Europe, and I have to say in the Netherlands, the kids that I've seen are good. They know how to read and they know how to write, and so their elementary education is okay. And I talk to elementary teachers in my acquaintance circle, so I know how it is. But yeah, I think it's good over here in Europe. But TikToks, do they? I don't know.
Like, I understand it can be hard, right? I can understand that y'all got multiple jobs and y'all doing all this stuff here. I get it. I do. I get it. My mom was a single parent and she was raising 2 kids and she was going to college and everything at the same time. However, she had to do it. Because the reality of the situation, this is what it is. You can point fingers and blame who you want, but the reality is these children cannot read on grade level. And we are having to dumb down curriculum to get these kids to where they need to be, and they're not getting there. This is not a me problem. This is not a you problem. This is a systemic issue, and we cannot fix it if we're blaming each other and not helping each other. Baby, this is the curriculum. This is what we have to teach. It would behoove you, for your child's sake, to work with the teacher to get your child to that level. If your child has a reading disability, girl, you can get an IEP, you can get a 504. We can figure something out to help your child. I just spent $70 getting a book set for some kids because I think that they would like to read this book better than reading the stupid books that we have to read in the classes that they're not going to.
He had to pay $70. Doesn't the school pay for this kind of stuff? Does he need to pay it out of his own pocket? If I needed someone for my classroom, for my lessons, I go to my supervisor and ask, I need something like this, this, and that. And then if we have budget, then it is. He had to pay for it? Very strange.
Gain anything from, right? But nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change as long as we sit here pointing the finger and not actually dealing with the issue. These kids can't read. Let's teach our children how to read. These kids can't do math. Let's teach these kids to do math. If you don't understand how to read it, if you don't understand something, you can email the teachers and y'all can work together. It is a team. It takes a village to raise these babies. As long as y'all keep being hyper independent, nothing is going to change. I promise you. And I'm not the only one saying this. There are thousands, if not millions of teachers across this country who are saying the same damn thing. Help the teachers that are here. They're trying to help you and society. And like, I know a lot of people are out here banning books and everything. I live in Florida too. But I'm like, baby, what's the point of banning a book that the children aren't going to read in the first place? You can ban.
Yeah, banning books. I've seen a lot of those. Going to the school board and then asking to ban a certain book because it's, I don't know, too religious or too sexist or why?
And the book, they can't read it. What if, go with me, we just focus on getting them to read, then you can monitor what they're reading. I don't even care. Can they read? Can they read? Can they read?
And yeah, he said that perfectly. Let me start by saying how amazing of a teacher this man was. He went out of his way to spend around $70 on books for his classroom. And what does it say about the teaching landscape that so many teachers like him have to pay out of their own pocket to supply their own classrooms with the resources that their students need?
That's amazing to me. Why? Why should you do this? Why? Why should you pay or need you to pay for a student? Sometimes I do this, rarely, because it's something I do, something specific for me or for some student. But when it's necessary for my lessons, for not only this class, but several classes, I go and reclaim it with my manager, and he will repay what I spent. It's normal. Teachers don't need to buy stuff that they need in their classes.
Like how he broke it down very simply. It literally just takes 30 minutes out of their day for a parent to read with their child so they can obtain reading proficiency. Like he said, if the student needed extra help or had a form of a disability of any kind, the school will have the resources for them. But the parents, they have to put in the work. And if things don't go right, the parents will then blame the teacher for the outcomes.
Yeah, that's true. That's even true over here. If something does, it's not my child, you are. Yeah, you didn't do this or that. Yeah, I know. It's what I hear too. It's always blaming the teacher.
Many of these young parents could literally teach their kid how to read. Instead, the parents are so busy scrolling on TikTok for hours. Is it me, or scrolling on TikTok while being a parent for hours while your kid is struggling? It's just so cringe. It's just, really? Like, adult parents, please grow up for the sake of your child. There's so many stories out there that mimic this teachers, where they just feel like nothing's gonna happen. Like they feel almost like a sense of defeat, like there's nothing they can really do. That's an awful feeling. For so many teachers, it feels like they're climbing Mount Everest just to get their students' parents to help them through this education journey. Gen Z is falling behind and it's getting bad. According to the National Assessment.
Yeah, that's when I wonder, how bad is it? Because teachers are always complaining, but how bad is it really?
Of education progress. Just 33% of US fourth graders are proficient in reading as the latest 2022 data. These are the lowest levels in decades. This means that already 2/3 of kids are already way behind in reading. And we can point the finger at a combination of factors here. Too much screen time, the pandemic learning loss, and yeah, parents are not consistently reading with their children at home. In fact, a study found that kids who are read to daily before kindergarten are exposed to about 1.4 million more words than those that are not read to. The difference in early exposure can completely change whether a child struggles or thrives in school. It is so vital. So teachers like this who openly come forward and confront parents are doing an immense amount of good in the world. The scary
I wonder, while I'm watching this, how many parents still do read bedtime stories to their children? Because if you're scrolling all day on your TikToks or watching Netflix series, instead of spend 15 minutes while putting your child into bed and then reading them a bedtime story, that would help a lot.
part is that these low literacy rates don't just impact test scores, they have long-term consequences. More data shows that students who don't read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. It really becomes a pipeline problem. And we're watching this unfold in real time in 2025. Teachers are ringing the alarm bells because once these kids fall behind in reading and writing,
Ringing the alarm bells to who? Who is responsible for keeping the parents, not the parents, but the keeping the schools in line to get to the norm that they need to be for reading, math, writing, speaking, etc. Who? To who do they ring the alarm bell? Or is it there in the United States? I do not know. Is there in the United States or in each state a general inspection board that, like we have over here in the Netherlands, that comes over and checks for how good is the material and how well are the teachers doing their job and how well are the test scores, etc., etc. How well do they do? I wonder.
It becomes nearly impossible for them to catch up without major intervention. And a lot of times with these type of parents, that's really not going to happen. Instead of building strong foundations, many students are walking into middle school and high school without basic comprehension skills. If this continues, the result isn't just classroom chaos. It's an entire generation that could struggle to function in a workplace that requires reading contacts, analyzing data, or even understanding workplace policies. You know, basic things that you have to do at a workplace. A large part of this is that students' attention span has fallen off a cliff. It seems like it's gone to a point of no return. As this one teacher points out,
Attention span, yeah. It's going down. But that's normal. The usual attention span in my classes is for about, and that's what we focus on, 10 to 15 minutes. Then after 10 to 15 minutes, you know you lost your students with getting them new information. So you got to start a different work routine, a different teaching method to do the same stuff and repeating it until the time is over. So 15 minutes is usual.
Can I tell you the worst feeling as a teacher? This to me stands above the low teacher pay. It stands above the low bathroom breaks. I think it even stands above state testing. And it happened today in my classes.
So that's state testing, according to him. Okay.
It's absolutely busting your butt for an assignment, thinking that it's gonna kill for the students and the students ruin it. I'm not talking about like a worksheet and the kids didn't enjoy the worksheet. I'm talking about like an activity, a whole lesson where all they gotta do is participate and try their best, and they can't do that. Like, I don't think these kids realize how discouraging it is. Like, I could easily go to AI. I could go to AI and say, hey, type up a 3-page packet with all written response questions for my students. And AI would give me that. No, but
Yeah, I would.
when a teacher, God forbid, tries his best and makes an assignment that, you know what, I would
He isn't wearing his seatbelt.
have enjoyed when I was a kid. And I try my best, and then kids just, I bet if it was a YouTube video, they'd love it. Or a TikTok video, I bet they'd kill it. But no, they'd rather do packets all day. That doesn't make sense to me.
so in this video, a young
You rather do packets all day. I do not know what those are. I cannot react to it. I do not know.
teacher is outlining a very common trend that so many teachers are expressing. That being the fact that students simply just don't care about anything in the classroom. So many teachers like him put in hours of their free time in many scenarios, only for the student not to really care or not put any effort into that assignment or project. It seems as if many Gen Alpha students want to take the path of least resistance.
That's not Gen Alpha. all students want to take the path of the least resistance. That's the challenge of being a teacher. Nah, that's not typical Gen Alpha. No. If they can succeed with less work, they will do it. That's general for being a student. That's even for me as a teacher. If I have to do some task in my college, then it's doing it with the way of the less resistance. So it's not Gen Alpha. It's student alike.
The easiest path. They rather just watch a video or really just do an easy packet. Something where they can just listen to music and avoid class discussion. I think that this is a really sad fact since
It is, but it is the fact, and it's your job as a teacher to think about it and how you can work around it and make it less easy for your kids.
Education should be much more than just the mundane tasks that you do in the classroom. When teachers create unique lessons, students should want to participate. The lack of effort isn't just teacher frustration. There's actually a lot of data to back it up. A research center showed that nearly 70% of teachers say that students' motivation has declined since the pandemic, with many
Since the pandemic declined. Nah. I've been a teacher for more than 20 years, and I've seen in those 20 years the motivation going down and down more and more. So it's not since the pandemic, no.
Many reporting that their students now expect assignments to be shorter, easier, and less interactive. At the same time, technology has completely reshaped attention spans. A study from Microsoft, actually, they found that the average human attention span has dropped to around 8 seconds. And for kids growing up in TikTok and YouTube, the idea of focusing for 30 to 40 minutes on a lesson feels almost impossible. This is something that teachers are telling us right now.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Instead of pushing through challenges, many Gen Alpha students
But you need to teach them that they need to focus for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's part of their future. It's part of their job when they're going to do it. So start with 5 and with 10 minutes, they have to until it's normal for them. If you give in and you rewrite your assignments to only do 10 minutes instead of 20 minutes, then you're losing the fight. You won't. You don't. You have to teach them that 30 minutes, if the task is 30 minutes, that 30 minutes is the normal way to do.
are defaulting to quick content or passive learning, which makes the classroom feel more like babysitting. So these teachers really have become babysitters. It goes back to our first example. What makes this
I don't do babysitting.
all super sad is that this avoidance behavior, it robs the student of the most valuable part of school, which I think is discussion. It's critical thinking and problem solving. When students just want to complete busy work or watch a YouTube video, they miss out on the chance to sharpen communication skills and think deeply about very complex issues. And we already have employers who
And then they vote for Trump because he has the same problem.
complained about Gen Z young workers and their lack of soft skills like collaboration and adaptability. And if Gen Alpha continues this path, they're going to be
It's not Gen Alpha. I've seen this with the millennials and I've seen it with Gen Z. So it's not specifically Gen Alpha. I do not agree with him on this part as he says it's Gen Alpha. No, it's not. The millennials and Gen Z had the same problem. Because of the upcoming of mobile phones, using of laptops, using of television, that's already for the past 10 years already. So
in an even worse spot than Gen Z is. Education really is there to prepare people for the real world. If classrooms are just reduced to daycares and packets and videos, then we really aren't teaching the new generation about anything.
and that's the teacher's job to do this. But I believe hearing him talk and how it is in the United States, it's the teacher's job. And they don't find assistants or rules or laws besides them to help them achieving what they need to do. If they are on their own, yeah, then you're in trouble.
Another major problem that we're seeing is that when teachers challenge students, like giving them college standard grading requirements or like on-time deliveries, so you better turn this packet in a week or two or you'll get a 0, that the students then turn to their parents and cry about it. Then to the fault of their parents, The parents complain to the teacher or even the school board itself. The parents talk about how the kid is being treated unfairly. Are you kidding me?
As a high school teacher, I am getting sick of people taking us upholding classroom expectations as personal attacks against them.
Yeah, I know how you feel there, but it's up to you that you're getting backed up by your school board and that you can do this because standards are standards.
Since when did it become harsh to not accept late work 3 months after
3 months?
it was due from a student that refuses to do anything in class regardless? Since when did it become harsh to want a student out of your classroom if they call you a derogatory term?
Goodbye. You're gone.
Since when did it become harsh to hold students to the expectations of having their headphones and phones put away when you're teaching or going over instructions or expectations?
And this teacher brought up many great points, which high school students feel entitled to getting classroom expectations shifted or altered to their needs. The sad truth is that when they leave high school or go get a job in the real world, their employer will not hold their hand or give them special privileges or accommodations like maybe their teachers did back in high school.
Yeah, that's why I tell the entire video, you have to be the teacher to hold your students to those standards, because when they are going to a job, their boss won't help them, and they can go to their parents, oh, my boss doesn't. Yeah, it's your job. And now it's not your job. You're fired because you don't do what is asked you to do. And you can complain with your parents, but you're out of a job, and you need to explain as a teacher to explain this to your student, that if they don't, they never find a job. And over here in the Netherlands and in Europe, there is a safety net, but in the United States, there is no safety net. So if you don't have a job, you don't have money. If you don't have money, you are homeless. Can't pay your bills. You can't have sick. Your health insurance, nothing. So face them.
This type of story is so common. It has teachers feeling terrified, frustrated, and ultimately worried about the future of education. So with all this said, I think it begs the question, why is this not one of the most talked about issues in America right now?
Why isn't it? Good question, but nobody cares. As I see videos about this topic and other topics, nobody cares. There is no caring for the next generation. There is no caring if somebody is going the wrong way. It's only me, and nobody else.
Teachers around the country have been signaling alarm bells that the education system is broken. Kids can't read, they can't write, and they have no desire to learn. If we do not do anything about this, whether it be awareness or policy changes, we're bound to fail an entire large portion of Gen Alpha. That isn't just bad for the teachers, but it's bad for the world. But what do you guys
Bad for the world? Yeah. America is like the rest of the world. No, it's not. Yeah. What do I think about it? Yeah. I do not know all the ins and outs of the United States education system. I know we have a ground school, a middle school, and high school. But the standards, I heard people talking about SIT points, etc. I do know, but I do not know all the ins and outs of the rules and how the education system is formed. So I cannot say that. But what I see and what I hear from teachers, but also what I see and hear from everybody else in the United States, the education system is a big problem of the economics and of the political decisions that are made in the United States. If people cannot do critical thinking, then how will they know how to vote for a certain person? I won't say the president, but for every democratic decision, if they don't know how to do critical thinking, it is having an effect on everything. That's what I see. Good video. I like it. Gets me educated again. If you liked the video, then press like, and it would be really appreciated if you hit the subscribe button. We're still trying to get up to the first 500, so it will be helpful if you do. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.